Hello, I'm CJ Werleman, and in this episode, we reveal reasons why resistance against Israel will never die. But first, please remember to like and subscribe to our show. Now let's get into it. Israelis are still celebrating the assassination of the Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar, who was killed by the Zionist regime on the 16th of October. But mark my words, these Zionist celebrations will be short-lived, for the simple reason that no occupation force anywhere can kill its way to victory. A lesson the United States learnt the hard way in Iraq, where it found itself fighting a determined resistance a full 14 years after toppling Saddam Hussein. A reality the United States also faced in Afghanistan, where it quickly toppled the Taliban in 2001, but only to watch them regain control of the country 2 decades later, when the US military and its puppet regime withdrew in shame and humiliation. And soon, the Zionist occupation of Palestine will be swept into the dustbin of history, because no foreign military force anywhere has successfully defeated a people who are willing to die for their land and cause. And more importantly, the Palestinian people aren't going anywhere. They're happy to bide their time, knowing the state of Israel will eventually collapse and disappear, forcing Jewish settlers and squatters to grab their European and American passports and head hastily for the exits. Indeed, they are already doing exactly that, as Israeli leaders predict societal collapse and even civil war. You need to understand that Israel has reached the zenith of its capabilities and the peak of its powers, causing it to become a victim of its own hubris and arrogance. It's now making fundamental errors of folly that are being seized upon by its enemies. And one of those errors was in boastfully televising its assassination of Sinwar. For it not only exposed Israeli lies about the resistance in Gaza, but also displayed the power imbalance that exists between the US-backed Zionist army and the besieged Palestinian people. You see, contrary to Zionist talking points, Sinwar wasn't killed while cowering in a tunnel, or hiding among civilians or hostages, and nor was he killed in a secret bunker or some faraway place. He was killed alone in his own home, armed only with his pistol and his undeniable courage. There he sat, with one hand blown off by a grenade. His final act of defiance was to throw a stick at the Israeli drone that was filming his final moments. He died an honourable death, a warrior's death, among his men and in defence of his land against a genocidal invader, occupier and coloniser. He died resisting. Israel, however, mistakes his assassination to represent victory and conquest. But the rest of the world saw something completely different. It saw a defiant martyr who died defending his homeland and people to the very end. An Egyptian journalist summed up the feeling of the entire Arab world when he said that in choosing to broadcast the final moments of his life, the Zionist occupation made Sinwar's life longer than the lives of his killers. And on social media, footage of his assassination has been accompanied by quotes from speeches in which Sinwar declared that he would rather die on the battlefield.
إنه أكبر هدية يمكن أن يقدمها العدو والاحتلال لي هو أن يغتالني وأن أقضي إلى الله سبحانه وتعالى شهيدا على يده. أنا اليوم عمري 59 سنة. أنا حقيقة أفضل أن أستشهد بالإف 16 أو بالصواريخ من إني أموت بالكورونا أو من إني أموت بجلطة أو بسكتة أو بحادث طرق أو بشغلة من اللي بيموتوا منها الناس. فخريتها يعني بتعرفوا بقى على 60 وبعد 60 بشوية يعني احنا بنصير ايه يعني قد اقتربنا من الوعد الحق ومن معاد الوفاة الطبيعية. فأنا أفضل أن أقتل شهيدا عن أن أموت فطيسة.
Israel is desperate for you to know absolutely nothing about Sinwar's biography, because his life speaks to the decades-long criminality of the Zionist occupation. Israel not only wants to believe that he was a terrorist, but also that his life began on October 7th, 2023. But this was a man who was born in a Palestinian refugee camp in 1962, a refugee camp that still exists today, therefore highlighting how Palestinians have been continually displaced and dispossessed his entire life and longer. Remembering that his parents were forcibly displaced from their home by Zionist militias in 1948, the year 1 million Palestinians shared a similar fate. Sinwar enrolled in the Islamic University of Gaza, where he got his first taste for student politics and activism. But it was here in 1982 that Israeli forces arrested him for the very first time, charging him with being involved in anti-occupation protests, an action that any American or European would consider to be an act of free speech. 6 years later, he was arrested again and thrown in a Zionist dungeon where he languished for more than 2 decades. Then soon after his release, Sinwar rose through the ranks of Hamas and within 1 year was elected to its political bureau, where he was tasked with coordinating the armed wing of the political organisation. In 2018, he played a leading role in organising the peaceful protests known as the Great March of Return, which demanded an end to the siege on Gaza and the right of return for all Palestinian refugees. But Israeli forces responded to their lawful demands by gunning down more than 200 unarmed protesters, who carried out their peaceful protests within the 4 walls of Gaza's concentration camp.
جينا نأكد للعدو الصهيوني إنه هذه أرضنا ولن نتخلى عنها. وطبعا العدو الصهيوني أطلق عبارة إنه الكبار يموتون والصغار ينسون. طبعا هذه خطأ، لأنه إحنا مهما ضلينا على هذه الأرض راح نضل ندافع عنها.
We have an injury. One of the Palestinians just got shot with live ammunition. He's been taken to the ambulance.
In assassinating the Hamas leader and publicising his death, Israel has unwittingly made Sinwar's name synonymous with the greatest freedom fighters of all time. His face will soon adorn t-shirts throughout the world, the same way the South American revolutionary Che Guevara has become a ubiquitous symbol of rebellion in popular culture. Because Sinwar not only spoke out forcefully for the people of Palestine, but also persecuted and marginalized peoples everywhere, including the United States.
هذه الفرصة واحنا بنعيش ذكرى القتل المجرم العنصري لجورج فلويد. جورج فلويد قتل في مثل هذه الأيام نتيجة منهجية عنصرية موجودة لدى أشخاص. اليوم هذه العنصرية التي قتل بها جورج فلويد يمارسها الاحتلال ضدنا وضد أهلنا، ضد أهلنا في القدس، ضد أهلنا في الشيخ جراح، ضد أهلنا في الضفة الغربية بحرق أطفالنا، وضد أهل قطاع غزة من خلال الحصار والقتل والتجويع. إحنا يجب أن يضع العالم الحر وشباب العالم الحر كله حداً لهذه الجرائم.
There are literally tens of thousands of Palestinians willing to take Sinwar's place. But an even bigger blow to Israel is that every surviving family member of the 45,000 Palestinians killed in Gaza is now willing to take up arms against their oppressor. To that end, Israel has made the same error that every occupying force has made in modern times, in believing it can rely on massive firepower to crush a righteous resistance force forever. Aerial bombing succeeds only in killing large numbers of innocent civilians. These killings drive family and community members into armed resistance factions and create lifelong antagonisms towards Israel and the United States.
أقسم بالله العظيم شفت الناس بتنحرق قدامي، والله ما حدا قدر يسوي إشي. بيطلع روحهم قدامي على مرأى عيوننا كلنا، على مرأى الصحافة والإسعاف والدفاع المدني والنازحين والأطفال والنساء والشيوخ انحرقوا قدامنا. والله ما حدا قدر إنه يسوي إشي، ما حدا قدر يقدم ويجيبهم. حاولنا بس ما قدرنا. النار كانت قوية لدرجة إنه ما حدا قدر يقدم ويسحبهم من قلب النار. انحرقوا وهم أحياء. الناس اللي حرقت وهي أحياء داخل هذه النار، أقسم بالله قدامنا أجسادهم اتفحمت أجسادهم. هذا إجرام ما عمرنا شاهدناه ولا حنشاهد مثله. إجرام الاحتلال الصهيوني بتزايد على الجنوب، على الشمال، في كل مكان. الاحتلال الإسرائيلي قاعد بيرتكب مجازر ما عمرنا شاهدناها. البشرية ما عمرها شهدت على المجازر اللي قاعد الاحتلال الإسرائيلي بيرتكبها بأبناء شعبنا الفلسطيني. أقسم بالله العظيم مشاهد حتضلها عالقة في ذكرياتنا، هان حتضلها قاعدة لنا في مخنا طوال السنين الجاية. عمرنا ما حننسى هذا المشهد، عمري ما حنسى المشهد اللي شاهدته أمامي اليوم، مشهد الطفل وهو قلب النار بنحرق وما حدا فينا قدر إنه يدخل.
Millions of people around the world now share his outrage. The only tangible thing Israel has achieved during the past year is to unite the Muslim world and unite large swathes of the Western world behind the Palestinian people. Put another way, Israel's barbarism and savagery has only succeeded in growing the resistance in Palestine and Lebanon to unprecedented levels, therefore spelling doom, isolation and despair for the failing Zionist state. The end is coming, I guarantee it. But that's my time for today. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and we kindly ask you please support our effort to expose and confront injustices in the Muslim world by becoming a member of this show at patreon.com/CJ We can't produce, sustain, and grow this show without your help, and we offer exclusive benefits to those who do. But for now, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, and stay blessed.